Do you sometimes feel crushed by the weight of life? The daily worries, anxieties about the future, and struggles in relationships can sometimes feel overwhelming. There may be nights when you can't sleep, wondering, why must I suffer so much? If you're watching this video with those feelings in mind, you're not alone. In this video, we will delve into Buddha's teachings, uncovering the essence of life suffering and ways to let go of it. As you listen to this story, I hope you find some solace and perhaps a new perspective. Take a deep breath, relax, and allow yourself to journey with us. Chapter 1: The Essence of Suffering. Buddha taught that life inevitably includes suffering. This suffering is an inseparable part of life and, at times, a necessary experience for personal growth. For example, the word attachment. When we intensely desire something or strive to be a certain way, attachment arises. But when this attachment is unmet, suffering follows. So, how can we let go of this attachment? If we can release attachment, we may lighten our hearts and open new paths in life. Chapter 2: The Story of Karna. Let me share a story about a young man named Karna. He lived in a small village with his family, constantly managing the demands of daily life. Karna was a kind and caring young man, but over time, he began to feel crushed by the burdens of life. His father passed away suddenly, his mother fell ill, and their debt continued to grow. Every night, he would lie awake, overwhelmed by anxieties about the future. Why must I suffer like this? His heart was filled with questions and worries. Chapter 3: A Chance Encounter. One evening, Karna sat under a large tree on the outskirts of the village, exhausted and burdened by his troubles. Just then, a traveling monk approached him, seated beside Karna with a peaceful expression, and gently spoke. "Young man, what troubles you so?" The warmth in the monk's voice touched Karna's heart. Before he knew it, he found himself sharing all his worries, the debt, his mother's illness, and his anxiety about the future. With tears in his eyes, he poured out the burdens of his heart. Chapter 4: Our Path to Buddha. The monk listened quietly and then said, "Not far from here, on the mountainside, lives a man called Buddha. Many people visit him to find answers to their inner turmoil. Perhaps he can help you understand your suffering." Karna was unsure, but he began to consider the idea of journeying to see Buddha while still taking care of his mother. Chapter 5: His Mother's Blessing and Departure. One night, Karna shared his thoughts about the journey with his mother. Weak but supportive, she held his hand and said, "Don't worry about me. Go seek peace for your heart." The next morning, Karna set off with just the bare necessities. The villagers gathered to send him off, hoping his journey would bring him peace. Chapter 6: Meeting Buddha. After days of travel, Karna finally arrived before Buddha. Sitting in quiet stillness, Buddha radiated an indescribable sense of calm. "Welcome, Karna," Buddha greeted him. To his surprise, Buddha already knew his name. Karna poured out his story, and Buddha listened, absorbing his suffering. Chapter 7: The Practice of Letting Go. Buddha led Karna to a large rock and said, "Lift this rock." Karna strained to lift the heavy rock, his entire body engaged. After an hour of effort, he could no longer hold on and finally set it down. Buddha then spoke. "Life suffering is much like this rock. The longer you carry it, the heavier it feels. But remember, you can set down your burdens whenever you choose." Deeply moved, Karna understood the meaning and resolved to release his inner attachments. Chapter 8: How to Let Go of Suffering. Buddha continued to guide Karna in practices to calm his mind. Each morning, Karna learned to sit quietly and focus on his breath, simply observing his thoughts without becoming attached to them. Gradually, he felt his mind grow more peaceful, his attachment starting to dissolve. 2 p.m. Chapter 9: The New Perspective. During his time with Buddha, Karna learned the importance of being grateful for the present moment. He realized that his suffering was amplified by clinging to the past and future. Upon returning to the village, he approached his mother's care with renewed purpose, and he began repaying his debt step by step. By focusing on what he could do now, his mind felt lighter, and he faced life positively. Chapter 10: Impacting Others. Karna's transformation began to impact those around him. Gone was the expression of worry, replaced by a calm smile. Seeing this change, villagers began coming to him for advice, and he gently shared Buddha's teachings. Ending. Karna's life gradually regained its light. He had faced suffering, learned not to cling, and found the importance of living in the now. To our viewers, I want to say this: you may be carrying a burden of your own, but you have the power to let it go. When life feels heavy, may you also find the courage to set down your burden and take a new step forward. Thank you for watching today. Please consider subscribing to the channel. We'll continue sharing Buddha's wisdom to help you fill your life with brightness and happiness.